We're going to be doing a construction of an isosceles triangle today. So you're going to need your compass, yes, and a straight edge. And we're actually going to use a protractor as well, so I'm just going to use the straight edge on my protractor for this construction. So we're going to begin by drawing a segment with your straight edge. This is actually going to become the base of your isosceles triangle. So I'm going to make mine a little bit longer just so you can see it. We will be labeling it and measuring angles during the construction. Alright, so now that you have your segment, we're going to take our compass and we're going to open it however wide you would like. Just make sure that it's more than half the length of your segment or your base so that the arcs would intersect when we do this construction. Okay, so we're going to start with our needle point on the one end point. Okay, and I'm just going to make an arc here like so, and without changing the size of your compass, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Make an arc like so. Okay, and you can see that the arcs intersect. That is going to be the other vertex of your triangle. So now what we're going to do is I actually like to soften these arcs up a little bit. I'm just going to erase them a tad, okay? And I'm going to use my straight edge and join the points to create a triangle. Alright, so now how do we know this is actually an isosceles triangle? Well, remember, isosceles triangle is defined as a triangle that has at least two sides congruent. So I'm going to measure the sides of my triangle with my ruler, okay, and I'm actually going to use centimeters here. So you measure all three of your sides, I'll measure all three of mine, and they should be different than mine because, of course, you know, you're making your own segments in triangle. So pause the video, go do your measurements, label your triangle, and then we'll come back together. Alright, so looking at my measurements, we see that the two sides here are both 6.2 centimeters approximately, of course give or take a little bit, human error, and then we have a third side that's 8.2 centimeters. Did you notice in your triangle that you have at least two sides? Okay, hopefully you only have two sides. You might have made an equilateral, and we know equilateral is also isosceles, but that's fine. Now what we can do here is label the actual parts of the isosceles triangle. So these two sides, which are congruent, are what we call the legs. Okay, and I'm actually going to mark them with a tick mark on each side so I know that those are the congruent sides, and then the non-congruent side is called the base. Now the legs intersect at this vertex here, and that is called the vertex angle. Make sure that you're labeling the parts just like I am. And now you have two angles that actually rest on the base. They're formed by the leg and the base. These are called the base angles. Now, shortly, you're actually going to be proving a theorem as well as its converse about those base angles. But just let's informally kind of discover what's going on with the base angles. So I'm going to have you take your protractor, and I would like you to measure all three of your angles in your triangle. Okay, so pause the video, use the protractor, measure your angles, and then come back. Alright, so looking at my measurements, I got my base angles to both be 50 degrees, approximately, give or take a degree, just, you know, of course, human error. And then I have my vertex angle to be 80 degrees. Now, if you think about what we learned before, the triangle sum theorem, the three angles of a triangle have to add up to 180 degrees. Make sure that your angles add up to 180 degrees. If you're at 179, 181, that could be because, again, human error. But here, I did get mine to be exactly 180 degrees. Yay! So that's the triangle sum theorem, right? Alright, what you'll notice is that your base angles should also be congruent. Are they? I hope so. If they are, then that's actually what we call the base angles theorem, which we will be proving formally in just a little bit. Okay, so things to know about the isosceles triangle. Base angles congruent. You have a vertex angle. You have two legs that are congruent, and then the base is the non-congruent side.